Let's welcome our host, Erica Wilson.
Great day, everyone. We're here live today with the girl, Erica Wilson, that it had to happen for our Thankful Thursdays. And my goodness, do I have a treat for you guys on tonight. I know I always say that, but tonight I definitely have a treat for you all. And tonight's topic is how to transition from a player to a coach. And I want to just tell you a little bit about my guest on tonight, Mr. Eugene Fuller, a middle linebacker, 6 feet tall, 265 pounds. He ran a 4.82 in the 40-yard dash, vertical 30, bench 405 pounds, squat 600 pounds, clean 330 pounds, and at Lansing University Lions graduate class of 2019. He played high school football at ASA men's varsity football in Kingston, Georgia in 2013. Also at LHS Varsity Football Wildcats in Hampton, Georgia from 2009 to 2012. During those years, he achieved second team Southern Crescent, linebacker of the year, All-State Team 2017, and first team All-Conference champion of character, guys. But somehow he fell under the radar during the NFL draft. Although Mr. Fuller may have been overlooked by the draft, during the time when he was going through his transition, God did not overlook him, right? God knew just the plan that he had for Mr. Fuller. And what seemed to be bad for Mr. Fuller ended up working for his good. Let me tell you, sometimes our plans don't line up with God's plans. God has his own plans, and what he say, that's what goes. But God did allow him to keep the gift that he loved. He just placed him in a different position. And sometimes when God put us in different positions, we get so uncomfortable. But how many of us know that when we're uncomfortable, that's when God is doing his best work? So let's hear from Mr. Fuller on tonight, how he transitioned from a player to a coach. So let me introduce to some and present to others the Coach Eugene Fuller. Welcome, King.
Thank you. It's nice to meet y'all. It's nice to meet you. Nice for you having me on as well.
Oh my God, it's such a pleasure to have you on. I remember reaching out to you and you jumped right on it. And listen, y'all have to bear with us because both of us is dealing with some allergies here. So you'll see and things like that and hear us sniffing, but that's okay. We're going to get through this show. So Mr. Fuller, like I said, it's such an honor to have you here tonight to share your story. Because a lot of times people do not like to share their story, but little do we know that it's happened to us for us to share with others. So can you tell us a little bit about who is Eugene Fuller?
Who is Eugene Fuller? For the long part, I thought that Eugene Fuller was a football player nonetheless. But life took me for a different direction and a different turn. I was somebody that was just naturally just always thrown in the fire. And I just come back and try to build whatever I learned from that situation or dilemma in that sense may be for me, and find a way to put a positive to it and keep it rolling. Originally from Miami, Florida, moved to Georgia, went to high school in Atlanta, Georgia on the south side. So technically I'm a Miami-Dade baby and a Tar Boulevard baby at the same time, but it's okay. I've learned to adjust to the best of both worlds and made really great friends from both areas as well. Wind up played on a really good high school football team. I think we're like 37-4, 60th in the nation my senior year. I wind up being short of my ACT SATs during a lot of stints that I had with during my junior and my senior year. Being in high school, didn't have the highest GPA, but that it's a whole lot to entail behind that, and we'll get to that momentarily. Wound up going to a prep school in Kingston, Georgia, the ASA, and still wound up falling short towards, I think, for my ACT, and I wasn't able to get into school where I needed to be. Had a whole bunch of schools talk to me, interested in me, loved me, wanted me on the team, but I couldn't do nothing because I had a low GPA and ACT, SAT. But you got to find ways to kind of maneuver and get yourself out there, stay connected, networking with people, and something to open up, a door open up for you another way how you can get into school. That way for me was by way of Dodge City Community College out in Dodge City, Kansas, all, all the way good in the country of middle of nowhere. To be honest, that was my first flight I've ever taken on a plane. Like, it was a 60, the scariest thing in my life. I'm not gonna lie. But wound up going there. Didn't start off bad. Going into my sophomore year there, I actually wound up tearing my MCL really, really bad, and so that kind of like put a halt on like me playing football for Dodge City. I was actually a class credit short, and Langston University had reached out to me, and that's kind of how I went from Kansas to Oklahoma. And surprisingly, I didn't play a snap in my junior college years or seniors, so somehow I was able to be a freshman again. Didn't complain, so I get a chance to play all 4 years all over again. I was really good, just like you said, with all the accolades. One more that you forgot, it probably wasn't mentioned. I was second team all Oklahoma.
Okay.
Second team all Oklahoma in the state of Oklahoma, playing ball. And that's within all schools. I was always a heavy backer. Now I'm probably about 265 is a little modest. I'm a chubby boy now. It's okay. I done turned a new leaf, but I'm in the sun now, so I can get ready to lose all that. But no, I enjoyed all my time at Langston. It was really, really good. I was a shot caller. I called all the defensive plays, got everybody lined up. I was the vocal guy. Couldn't wear a mouthpiece because I used to talk so much. Really, people used to think I was a madman. So, it's a difference on the field than being off. But no, wind up going into my senior year. We wound up falling short, missing the playoffs at 8-2. I think my collegiate career was 36 and 4.
Well, I'm not sure I understand that. I mean, I know some football, but when you said 36 and 4, what does that mean?
So, most people don't think about football like this in a way. So you're guaranteed 10 games a season. So that's all you're guaranteed. And going into my collegiate career, you're guaranteed 10, so that's 40, and we got a chance to play 41. So out of 41 games, we wound up finishing 36 and 4, 36 and 5 ish. So that's a pretty good record for a really good group of guys. That was senior, junior, and sophomore, freshman. All together, those are great classes to come by for that school, and a chance to play with all those great players. When it came time for pro day, I don't know exactly what happened.
Don't jump into that yet. Don't jump right into that yet. I just want to find out. We're going to tell the audience a little bit about you. So we're going to jump into their pro day soon. So I want to go ahead and kind of piggyback off of something that you were saying, because we all know that any athlete, you definitely have to have the GPA, right?
Most definitely.
Here it is. We know the ACT, SAT can be extremely hard, or some people just have test anxiety. They can know it, but then get in front, of the test and then have anxiety and sometimes, fall short. However, that was only God preparing you for your now, right? So here it is, you were going through the SATs and the ACTs, and then your grade point average and things like that, and then transitioning from different schools. You see where I'm getting at with this, right? Transitioning from different schools. So here it is. Now you transition from a player to a coach. But however, I do not want to take anything from you. I did not see that other accolade. However, I did find this video that I'm about to show. And listen, when I tell you, Get ready, get ready, get ready, because he brung the pain. Let me show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Whew. Let's see where we at here. I should have pulled this up. So let me go into commercial while I pull this video up. Okay, guys? Hold 1 second for us. All right, guys. Thank you for watching that video, that commercial. That is my son's company. I definitely have to rep him and push him out there. Eugene, I'm so proud of him. And that is his company, MXT. Midnight Trucking Express is right here, based out of Georgia. Let me tell you, he's doing some great things. And son, if you're listening in, God bless you. I'm so proud of you. Now we're going to jump into this video of Mr. Fuller, Coach Fuller. Okay, get ready, get ready, get ready. Let me tell you, Mr. Fuller. You didn't even have to do that way like that, going across that middle. Listen.
He signed up for it.
And I saw that, I said, oh my God. Let me tell you. So can you just take us back there and tell us what those days was like when you were playing? Was that collegiate or that was high school?
That was collegiate. So Langston is an NAIA, but we get all the big players. We play a lot of Division IIs and Division I's. I think during my tenure there, we played Southern and Arkansas Pine Bluff. We played, when I said, a plethora of Division II schools, and they took us off their schedule because we used to beat them really bad. But no, I loved every bit of it. Just my studying before the game, just how I would be able to set up everything, how I can call out everything, find tendencies. Getting everybody lined up really quick, being able to counter like whatever the quarterback was able to cadence out, and I was able to spit it back out to my team just as well, so that we wouldn't be caught at a disadvantage. So I had a lot on my shoulders, and I was able to handle it very well. My mom always told me I got big shoulders for a reason, and I'm able to carry that into life as well.
I know that's right, Mr. Coach Fuller. Oh, goodness. Let me tell you, the here it sounds as though that you are a true champion of the game. And when I say a true champion of the game, meaning no football inside and out. And I'm hearing that as you were speaking, and I'm reverting back to my son, my son Alan. And I can say that's one of the things he knows football front and back to front. You guys are true champions of the game. And that actually makes a difference. Because for you to be on that field and be able to read that play before that play even pop off and to get to your opponent that quick, you know what I'm saying? That is something that is a true gift in itself, right?
Most definitely.
Here it is now. You did you had the accolades, you had the tape, and I watched a lot of your highlight tapes. And again, what I want to display here, Eugene, is Coach Fuller. What I want to do, I'm gonna give honor where honor is due. Okay, you earned it. So, being though that you had the accolades, right? You had the tape, you had the film, you had everything that was there, but somehow slipped under the radar. And this is what I like to tell people: even though you could be good, great, or the best, right? Everybody is not going to make it. Only a few will make it. But see, God had his hands on you. Even though you didn't make it to the pro level, God still didn't remove that gift from you. He still allowed you to use that gift, but in a different way. Because guess what? You're a true champion of the game. So take us to pro day and to draft day or pro day, we're going to jump to. Which way you want to go?
So pro day comes before draft day, but unfortunately, for my time, and again, for my tenure at Langston, I didn't get opportunity to even have a pro day. But I was still continuously go jogging, stay in shape, do what I had to do, hit the weights, just so I can stay in shape, just in case I did have a number call. I did get a chance to go. I did have a chance. I was one of three people to be able to go overseas to Italy and have a chance to play in Nice, France. But COVID wound up happening, and that kind of shut that down too.
Something, COVID always rearing its ugly head at the worst times. I tell you, and you see my lips balling up because it just robbed us of so much. So that was doing what, the 2020?
Yeah, 2020.
Wow. And you had a chance to go over to Italy. Tell us what that was like.
Well, I never actually got the opportunity to fly over there, but just going through the whole process of getting everything set up, talking with the coaches, and they seemed really excited to get me over there. I was really excited to try to find a new place. I think that was the first time I actually bought a passport, my first passport, so I can be able to use it and punch it. Never got the opportunity to really do that, so I got it literally for that reason. So it kind of set me up. So at least now I got my passport.
Absolutely, because you're going to get ready to get all kind of stamps, Coach Fuller. You just get ready. Because the thing is, God wouldn't have set that thing up like that for that to happen and not bring it to pass. So definitely you have your passport for a reason. And now that you're Coach Fuller, we don't know where God's going to send you. Because I hear that we were talking in the green room and I was like, wait, you leave it for the show so we can share with everyone, because everyone do not understand, you are definitely a true living testimony. Here it is, you had to go through the fire, but you came out untouched. You may not, in the place where you wanted to be at the time, right? But God knew where he wanted to plant you. And as a coach, here it is. Now you're a coach. You had to transition from a player to a coach, but then you had all the knowledge, because again, I say you're a true champion of the game. So tell us what that was like, transitioning from being a player to now I'm Coach Fuller.
Well, it's a real long, because it was really hard for me to just kind of just let football go, knowing that I wouldn't be able to put on pads again. Because in my honest, true spirit, I'm a warrior at heart. I'm a fight to the test of time, and that's just kind of how I'm built. when it came to the game of football, like I really, really loved everything that I did, the physicality about it, just the whole 9 yards and how to become a football player. I was doing it since I was 7, 8 years old. And, for me to be 22, 23 years old and, I'm not done with the game, but the game was kind of done with me in the sense of me not being a player anymore, that kind of hit home. And I think people don't talk about that enough, like what that does to somebody mentally. I wouldn't say, I think that was probably like one of my lowest moments, if if I'm being 100% honest, because it's just kind of like, who am I? You got to go through that stage of who am I? Because again, in the beginning of the show, it's like I said, like I thought I was just a football player, but I'm definitely much more than that. And just being able to actually go through that process of, okay, now I got to figure out who I am. What can I do? How can I do this? How can I get past this? Because I had a coach tell me, he said, you can play soccer forever. You can play baseball forever. You can play basketball forever. Shoot, most people can go run track forever. Once football hit around 22, 23, you're not picking up a football ever again. So there's not even 1% that can even get a chance to make it to the league, which is a testament to those guys who's actually able to make it that far. But I was kind of just going through my motions, and when I finally kind of got over through my rough times, my rough areas of just trying to figure out who I am as a person, what can I do, what's my purpose, and how can I do and build and help other people while building and helping and building myself. Um, I was selling cars for a minute, and again, like I have a really, really good heart about it. And I don't like screwing people over. That's just not my forte, because I know what I've come from and I know where I've been. Like, it's been really, really good people to help me and uplift me and push me in places even when I didn't want to go, and I had no choice but to do it. But, and it would be a disservice to them to like really do bad by people. So I try to do really, really well with people. I was in car sales for a while. I sucked at it. Realized that my people skills wasn't as personable enough. But when it would kind of sit with me the wrong way when it's a family that I know is struggling in there, and it's just it's stuff that happened that's out of your control. And I would try to do my best that I could to help assist, and in the ways in which I know, like, as far as now, transportation is a necessity to, especially in today's era. And I would try to help as best I could in that. Or if they couldn't do nothing, I still could try to uplift them, even though they didn't want to hear it, because at the end of the day, they wasn't getting the car. But I began to develop a lot of personable skills, even though I was okay at them before getting into the business. Just trying to help people as best I can, but I just felt like I was screwing people over at the end of the day, and it just wasn't for me. Like I began to get good at what I was doing, and just set me up for my next steps or whatnot. I know I wasn't gonna be there forever. My intentions was to find the best way and how to buy a car. That's why I became a car salesman. But it helps. Most people look at their career and think of, this is going to help me career wise, but in the sense of building communication, building development skills, like you can put that into sports, you can put that into real life situations, relationships, family, and in your work life. But most people try to stick it as one, and I was just kind of like, really, I'm like, man, this can help me out in this situation, or this can help me out in this, and I can, not just being a great car salesman. Wound up getting out of the game, and my mentor, he was the one that honestly brought me back into football, because I was at the point where I just became okay with not being a football player and walking away from it. I think it was a dream. I told him one time, hey, coach, one of these days I'm gonna be able to coach with you. And he didn't really believe, so he was like, I'm gonna be out the game by the time you finish. And I was sitting there like, nah, cause I'm gonna coach with you at least, it'll be 1 year. And he called me out the blue, and literally I was really over football. And he was like, I got a linebacker position for you. up at North Atlanta, and I want you to coach my linebackers. And I was like, for you, coach, I'll do it. So that's kind of how I got back into the game, transitioning from player to coach. But I always have a love for people, even when I don't feel like talking, or if I don't, like, I think a lot of people gravitate towards me because, like, I guess the energy that I bring for them. And I'm just a real person at the end of the day. I'm not somebody that's going to smile in your face, you know what I mean, and then be angry at you behind your back. I have no reason to dislike people or anything like that. So a lot of my kids, they would come gravitate towards me. I would pick kids up, drop them off at home, and I worked for a really, really nice school in Atlanta. It was up in the Buckhead community. Got a chance. I think the school was like $150 million, and it had like 11 stories in it, I swear to God. But the kids admired me. I think I was able to substitute in the school, so it's like I had everything going. So I would just come to one school, be able to. My mentor would be able to develop me, helping me with just little tedious things or anything like that. But just for my energy, for what I bring, I know I was a loud person on the field when I was playing. I'm still a loud person on the field now, but I'm able to so I think a lot of guys get a lot of things misconstrued in how to talk to people, because again, I come from a different background from a lot of people. So I can relate to guys, that probably got it made, and I can relate to guys that don't have it made as well. So in the sense of it can be a guy that don't know, a coach that don't know how to speak to a certain player, and in the same way, I can speak to him, and we can be able to calm him down really, really quick. Or
what? I don't mean to cut you off, but that's
no,
a good point that you made, because on our NFL Mom show, we talked about that, how the coaches talk to the kids, and sometimes it can be really, really harsh, and using bad language, to say what they need to say, and sometimes as a mother, you sitting over on the benches and you hear this, blah, blah, blah. Hold on, especially as a protective mother. You have a lot of us out there. But just to see the way that they talk with the kids and then want the kids to respect them, respect is earned, not given.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to go back. I don't want to get too far ahead about making sure your mental is together, because you were saying basically football was done with you, but in all reality, as a player, yes, but you didn't know what God had in store. You spoke it because you told your coach, I'm going to coach with you one day, so you kind of had an idea that you wasn't completely done with football yet, right?
Yeah.
And even though you were on that field, you knew what it was to be the player, right? And now here it is, you done transition over to be a coach. Now you know how you want it to be treated. So you're going to go and do that to your players that you coach. You see? Steps, it's steps we have to take in life. See, we're dealing now, everybody wants a microwavable fix, including me sometimes. We want what we want when we want it, and we want it right now, right? However, we got to know that it's not our timing, it's always God's timing. So here it is, you are being birthed per se, for everything that you have going on now. You went into to be a car salesman to only understand that I don't like screwing people over. This is not me, But before that, everything was just about football. And again, I have to bring up Allen because that's all that he said, But you have to know that there's life after football. We know that what NFL stands for what? Not for long.
Not for long.
You said it. You could play soccer, basketball, and all those other sports for a long time. You never know what may happen, even if you made it to the NFL, right? God forbid, you're one injury away, or you're one play away from somebody taking your job. So again, you were being birthed. So here it is, you walk the walk. You had to go through all of this, but you knew what was your love. Because I heard a saying said, do something that you love as far as your career, right? Do something that you love because you'll never get tired of going to it because you love it.
Most definitely.
You know, you love it, but you had a army, like you had a village that was behind you, that was pushing you. So whoever your mentor is, shouts out to you, mentor, if you listen in, for pushing Coach Fuller, you know, to his potential. Because here it is, you have people. Sometimes we have people believing in us, and we don't even see what they're believing. But it takes someone to genuinely know what you got, know what you're capable of, and just give you that little push. That's all. That's all we need in life, is just a little push. So now we don't transition from that player. Now we coach Fuller. We got it going on. We here in Atlanta, Miami 305. Y'all know that's my hometown. And that's what Coach Fuller is from. But listen, came here to Atlanta, started coaching, dealing with these kids looking up to him. Tell me, what was it like when your first kid came to you with the problem? You don't have to tell us the problem, but just tell me, how did that make you feel, knowing that this kid came to you and confided in you, saw enough in you to say, let me go to talk to Coach Fuller? How did that make you feel?
It felt really good because it's just like a really, really good importance about it. It felt, from the biggest thing about it is that he trusts me. And you know, he felt comfortable enough to be able to come with me he come to me with a situation for me to be able to it's not even just so handle it or address it, but he just want my words of wisdom, or he, you know, or just like a would you moment, in a sense, or like he just want to understand, like, why am I there for him, or why do I have his back, you know, like in those type of sense. But it makes you feel really, really good, and it makes you feel really, really proud inside to know that, you know, you got little kids, to not even little kids, but young men, young adults, because you know that's what I deal with, just to come to you, and you know they feel comfortable with you as a safe haven. Even if I do jump on even if I do jump on them, or hound them, they still feel comfortable enough to come to me because they know that I care.
Right.
Most kids won't know. Most kids won't care until you do,
Right.
and they won't trust you until you actually show an absolute, like, hey, I'm here for you guys, and we're gonna and you know, this is what this is. It's not. I'm not like, when you get a title, when you get the title and the label coach, like that's not just a momentary thing. That's something for life. And kids will never forget you, whether the moment is either good or bad.
That's so true. I love that. Man, they won't care unless you do.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. Listen, people, you heard it from Coach Fuller. They won't care unless you do. So here it is now. You have these young adults, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, they may, okay. I saw something, and this is as a mother of an athlete, or athletes, because Daryl played as well. But as a mother, it was never me pushing them and say, this is what you had to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I hate to even bring this up, what Coach Deion Sanders said. He was saying, and I don't know if I'm taking it out of content, but all I know is when anyone speak about single moms, it kind of hit, you know, home with me, because I am a single mother. But to hear him say that he would rather get a kid out of a two-parent home versus to getting a single mom, because guess what? Maybe this kid is trying to, you know, I think he said he was on free lunch or something like that, and trying to get his mom off a Section 8 or something. He said like that. And I really was offended by that, because at the end of the day, you do have some players are being pushed to play, and some players are playing because this is a game that they love.
Mm-hmm.
However, being known that now you see these young men coming up, and I know their hopes and their aspiration is to go to the next level. Do you have these conversations with them to let them know to focus on the now, you know, per se, than basically, you know, worrying about what's going to happen later on? Because you have to get through the now in order to make it to the future, right? So do you have the conversations, and what is the conversations like with these young fellows?
So in the midst of it, most people want to worry about their future. Some people be the future is a beautiful, beautiful thing, but it's in reach, but yet you can't touch. And then you have people who reflect on their past too much, and they're not able to take their steps because they're too focused on what's behind them. Uh, when it comes to like focusing now and in the moment, if it's something that you can fix, if it's something that you can do, I would rather you focus on it now. You can't sit around and wait. Just if it's something that you can't fix and it's broken and it's out of your hands, like it's out of your control, you can't like you can't sit around. It's okay to sit for a second, but if you want to just sit around and hang on and hold on to the past, how are you going to get better? How are you going to build? How are you going to build moving forward? How are you going to be able to take your steps when you're too focused on the past and when you're so locked in on your future? You kind of forget about the moments of the happiness, the hurtful moments, because most people don't talk about the hurtful moments in those now moments, but those are things that you need to be able to pressurize you. Like it just as much as it's good, as much as it's bad, but you got to be able to take both of them as lessons and be able to put your head down and keep moving forward. So the now moment is, well, let's put it in the context of football. Well, we play a game Saturday, and we just lost a game last Saturday. Man, Monday come, man, we really got our butts kicked. Saturday, blah blah blah, this, that, and the third. Tuesday coming, that same kid is still in that moment and stuck. Hey man, we don't went over it on Sunday. It's time to get back to work. We got to get locked in and loaded. We got another game to play. It's another opportunity for us to get better.
Amen.
And then some guys want to just skip all over practice and want to, they want to get into the game moment, but it's a process necessary and for you to go to it. It's hard. Sometimes you got to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know what I mean? And those tedious moments of where, okay, I have to be able to learn this. I'm living in the moment of now, and my practices are now. My development is now, so that way we're getting better from our mistakes from the last game. And so that way we can be able to have a crisp, clean game and take it out on the next team that we have moving forward. But we got to take it one step at a time, and those steps is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, until it's time to game day. So we got this test, and we can pass this test.
Absolutely. Love that. Because you know what? It's the saying that the thing is, even though you may have lost that game, won that game, however it may be, that next game, that old game don't matter. You still got to bring your A game this game. You understand what I'm saying? So I love what you said. You can't really live in the past and what happened. You only can learn from it and be either better or bitter at the end of the day, bottom line. And just like Valencia say, it's necessary to live in the moment. Yes, because sometimes when we try to live too far ahead, we don't even know if God have us in the numbers, for the next day, So just live in the moment, enjoy the moment, people. Do not allow the future to rob you, because guess what? You go to making these plans, right? And these plans may not fall through. Then if you're not mentally stable, you can lose it. Not just in football, any walk of life, any walks of life. But just speaking on, because we're talking about transitioning from a player to a coach, but just saying that here it is, you have, even when you do make it to the league, right? These players sometimes retire or get hurt and can't play anymore. Your mental have to be there. You have to be and not just your mental, you have to also have the support too, to push you. So here it is. Valencia say, coach like Eugene. Yes, that's the second one we got. Definitely. We need plenty of you, because not just being a champion of the game, right? But to be compassionate. You said something that stuck out. You said you don't like wronging people. You do not like it at all. And that says a whole lot right there in itself. But I cannot go on with this show without you telling us about your siblings and your mother, who's someone who I grew up with and so near and dear, I tell you. So tell us what it's like. Tell us about your family. What are your family activities? And what was some of the most proudest moments as a big brother that you got to display to your siblings?
So with my family, like this goes way back. I really am a family man. When it comes to because most people don't know this. Like, okay, going towards my my ACT SAT scores and uh my ACT scores and not me having a high GPA, just going through it. I was a family man because I'm not a person that's gonna say like I've never had anything growing up, so I know what it's like to have things, and I know what it's like to not have anything, and everything can get taken away from you in a whole instance, and people don't go through. People go want the good and don't want to take on the bad as well. Uh, so my junior, my senior year, I was homeless. So like I'm one. Most people think I'm a mama's boy, by the way, and that's like that's further from the truth. Uh, I was closer to my granddad, if not more than anything, and that was kind of like that was my father figure, if not being. Me and my dad didn't have a really, really good relationship, and I understood that. Um, and I understood that being that way, but I still had men in my life when it comes down to my uncle, when it comes down to my grandfather, when it comes down to my coaches. And it's a lot of coaches that I feel like I just can't let down, and I do this for the enjoyment of myself, but I also look like what would it be like if those guys had given up on me. But for the people that I try to reach in my life and in their life, I want to try to leave something as good as positive as I can, and do the best while I have that young man, and know that I'm nothing but more than a phone call away, or when you see me, it's all love, and just things like that. Um, but no, during my junior, my senior year, I was homeless. So my why for like my football, my why was for my mom, was for my family. My sister has Asperger's, which is a trail of autism, like a lot of autism, but it's more found predominantly in men. Is one of the aggressor triggers, if need be saying. I also had a little brother. We're like 10 years apart, but shoot, that's like a little mini me in a sense, and I love my family very, very much. We also been through thick and thin. Like, we had stability, we also didn't have stability. It was times, where, as just for me, like, where shoot, we would sleep in a car. We didn't have enough money to do what it is to do, and it'd be times where I would come in and like, see my mom, like, she wouldn't do it in front of everybody. And me and my mom had a different type of relationship, to where, if some moms in a sense would probably be like, boy, who is you talking to? But I can talk to my mom in a way of like, hey mom, you tripping, you need to get this stuff together. You're doing a wonderful job. Why are you sitting here moping for the best of what you can do? Like, there'll be times where I can come and I can see my mom crying, and she want to be to herself, and she having a moment, and I understand that. I can go in there and give her a big old hug. So I know what it's like to struggle, what it's like to not eat sometimes, what it's like to share a bed. I didn't get my first official bed till I went to college, and I took my first flight. I had my own bed. That was my first time. I didn't even want to come out my dorm because I had my first bed. I had two. I think I got on that plane with two pair of shoes, probably about four packs of shirts, and maybe like a week worth of shorts. And I was just excited because I had my own bed. Like, I had my own space. I was able to do, it's just some things that I had to do. I tried to do the whole in-state thing, and I just felt like my mom and my family can come reach me, uh, whenever. But, after a while, I was like, hey, I want to try to do this thing out of state, because I want to kind of go through these things on my own, whether it's good or bad. And, I just got to kind of figure them out within myself. Going to my senior year in high school, I wound up losing my granddad my junior year. So remember the game that he was supposed to come to was a Riverdale game against Lovejoy. It was November 3rd. And he wound up getting sick with cancer of the blood. and like a month later he wound up passing, even though he was getting better from the treatments and everything like that. But that kind of like uh that kind of like tore me away from like everybody, because again, that was like my father figure. So I would still play football. Like I played football because I wanted to save my family. Like it didn't matter to me. It didn't matter if it was more like survival in my defense. But I had fun enjoying it in the fires, in the midst. I've gained brothers. I've gained phenomenal mentors and just people that still have my back to this day. Uh, and a lot of people wanted to take that walk with me. They want to try to understand like what I was going through. Like my friends that I call my brothers, they still like they absolutely like they understand what I came from, and they know why I am the way that I am. But just, again, like I said, my shoulders is big for a reason. And I will always go in there and pick up my mom, even though when she felt like she was a failure. And I will tell her, like, you're doing a really, really beautiful job, Mom. I just want you to know that, like, we're not mad at you. We're not upset. It'll be times when lights is off. It'll be times when we ain't have food. It'll be times, like, we probably needed a hotel and we couldn't get a hotel. We'll sleep in a car. There'll be times where we can get a little hotel or anything like that. Or we'll spend a day chilling at a McDonald's and can't get a bite to eat. So I understand. I understand, and I try to always understand with people. And you don't know a story. You don't know a story just by looking at somebody, just looking at the cover or anything like that. Yeah, I can have a title on my face, but you got to take time to read the book.
Mhm.
So
Jesus.
everybody, like, I do this because I'm passionate, and again, I did it for a survival reason. Like, and I play football. Like I would tell my people any day, any night, or anything like that. Like I would run through a wall for them if I was able to make it to the league, and if I was unable to move, I felt like my job was done because my family was taken care of. So it was like that was something that I lived and I died by. So I had a different why, as opposed to what people play football and they would think that I was crazy. Like, why would you do that? Why would you feel that way? Or you know why I'm fired up about it, why I don't try to make mistakes. I try to make my mistakes in practice so I can learn it, so I can be picture perfect on game day and stuff like that.
Wow.
So I still take like when like about my little brother, I think if I had one regret, if it's one regret that I probably had with my little brother, was, being around him a little more, but he didn't understand at the time that I was going to school. So there'd be times where he'd be sad that I was leaving. Because again, that's my road dog. That's my buddy. He turned 18, so he think he all high and mighty, big
Yeah.
chest and stuff like that. But we can, we can sit down and have tough conversations, and he take time to listen to me, even when he don't want to listen to me. And he knows when it's time to have fun, and he knows when it's a serious conversation and stuff like that. And we can both. He's not afraid to come to me in those moments or whatnot. And I love my family very, very dearly. Me and my sister, I love her. But God, we get a oh man, we
So
if
just
it's
one
one
girl
person,
like that.
hey, if it's one person that grind my gears, it's my sister. But I love her ever so dearly. I
But
love her.
and just to see your smile, you know, it just literally brighten up. I'm not, whoever is tuned into this, I know just your smile itself, it is just brightening up their room right now. But to hear you go through the pain without me even, it's my journey, my purpose, my pain. So that was part of and that's why, when God gave me the topic, I'm glad that He loaned it to me. It had to happen. A lot of times when the it's transpire in our lives, we never know why, or they may not feel so good at the time, but will make sense later on. But to hear you say all of those things that you had, all those it's that transpired, you didn't use it as a crutch. You used it as a stepping stone. Here it is. You knew that you wanted better. You knew that you were better. You knew that one day you were going to come out. You knew that trouble don't last always. You knew that you had a praying mom, a strong mom. You had a solid foundation around you. But here it is. all of these it's tried to break you, but didn't even know that you were bending at the time, but you were not breaking because you knew, here it is, I'm coming out, I'm going to stand up strong. I maybe didn't make it to where I thought I wanted to be in the NFL. Maybe God saved you from those injuries. You have players out there now that can't bounce back from some injuries. You understand? Maybe he saved you for something. But here it is. He placed you where he wanted you to go to be able. He know your heart, Coach Fuller. He know your heart. He wants you to be able to pour into other young men, because that's something that we don't have too often, where our seasoned men go back and pour into our youth. It's needed. Very much so. I don't know who's trying to call in, but it's very much so. It's needed. And here it is now. Coach Fuller is out here coaching these players. He did the player thing. You walk that walk, right? So now you could talk that talk as a coach. Hallelujah, Jesus. And I just thank God where he have you at today, that you did not let that stop you. A lot of people, I didn't have my dad growing up, or I had this to happen to me, so I'm doing this. You didn't use it as an excuse. You took that and you let it birth that purpose for where you are today. And I must say, I am so, so very proud of you. Everything that you stand for, the smile that you have on your face, even talking through the it's, but you can't do my girl like that. She gonna call me and say twin. And when she called me and said twin, I got you. So here it is. We done heard all about your family and how you're a family guy. You love people genuinely. You transition from a player to a coach. So now what we want to do, we want to go ahead and we want to shout out our viewers, because Coach Fuller, we can't do this without them. They make our show. So what I want to do, I'm going to put the comments up on the screen and let you have your way. You could read the comments or you could just shout them out. Here we go. First one up.
Let me see. I appreciate that. Thank you. Shout out Kayla. Shout out to my little sister, my big head little sister. Shout out to my mom, and she's a newlywed. Shout out to my brother Marcus, man. We go way back from high school. I love you too, Chan. Absolutely. And it goes both ways. Shout out Val. Shout out Val one more time. I try. What's going on? Shout out Miss Jackson, Mr. Jackson. Shout out Shannon. Oh. Shout out Big Allen, man. I ain't talked to you in a minute, man. We gotta be in contact.
What I didn't realize, and your mom brought it to our attention, that when we had our 88 Blessings gala one year, gala, however you call it, that you and him were kind of chopping it up for a little moment. And I love to see that. So we're right here at 6:56. The hour just go by so very fast. And, I think we covered a lot, but only if you're willing, you're more than welcome to come back again to do a part 2, because we haven't even talked about what you're doing now. We talked about everything you were doing then, but we didn't talk about what you're doing now. And man, do he have some great things going on. But in order for you to find out, you have to come back for a part 2. So Eugene, Coach Fuller, is there anything that you would like to leave with our audience on today? Maybe you have that mother that's out there listening to you. Maybe you have a athlete that's out there listening to you, or maybe anyone that's getting ready to make a transition from one position to another. What would be your words of encouragement to them?
be comfortable being uncomfortable, because in the how do you that uncomfortability creates a growth, and you just know that change is coming about when something's uncomfortable. You can't sit still, you jittery, it's movement. So that's something that's really really good happening, and you need to be able to embrace that. As long as you're able to embrace it, positivity come about it. Behind the door of fear, it leads to something really really great. People told me that somebody told me the other day, not too long ago, that he doesn't see fear in my eyes, and there's no need to be fear or fearful of anything, because at the end of the day, it's either gonna happen or it's not. It's just kind of how you want your story to be told. So I always say this. I said, have fun with what you're doing. Have fun in the moment. Live in the moment.
Yes.
And again, have fun with what you're doing, and the rest will come later on. You just got to have fun right now. You got to find enjoyment in what you're doing. You may not like what you're doing right now, but you can take positive manners. You can take positive keys out of it and just say like, hey, I'm learning this. I'm picking this up. So because this right here is not permanent. It's setting you up for the next best thing for what you have going on. And you just don't even know what that is. You just don't know. Put two and two together. You be like, hey, that put me in a position for me to do this.
Right.
And just the network, just being able to reach people and just genuinely want to be able to get to know people. For that mom out there, let that boy coach him. Let that man coach that boy. He need that. So a lot. Some of y'all be feeling some type of way because we jump on them, but they know that we mean well. Again, like I said earlier, they don't care until we show that we care. So you know, that's our moment. Those are our times, and he ain't gonna love me no less. I ain't gonna say I'm a whole saint when it come out there on the field. I don't have the cleanest mouth, but they understand, and I break it down in a way for them to, understand. Like, yeah, I shouldn't have did that. I should have did this, and it's a life learning experience nonetheless.
Love it, love it, love it. Love your words of encouragement. But I did want to show these pictures before we get off the show. We're right here at 6:59, but I have to show y'all these pictures of Coach Fuller when he was playing at, where was this?
Langston.
All right. And where was this?
That was Langston as well.
Okay. And then y'all see him, linebacker, Eugene Fuller. But see, let me tell you something. I like offense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like play defense.
I play offense a little bit. I play fullback. I play tight end. I did it all.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
I was an athlete.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Here it is. I'm an offense girl all day, but I just love football. But all jokes aside, I love what you're doing. Keep on keeping on. There's people out here that you're inspiring, even older, younger, wherever it may be. Just know there's somebody's out there watching and they're inspired. And I pray that this show has blessed someone on today. Well, I know it did. I'm not gonna say I pray that it did. I know that it did, because if it haven't blessed anybody else, it definitely blessed me, especially when you said, moms, let these coach our boys. Because again, we see that and we be like, oh, he ain't talking to my son like that. But here it is. Yeah, we know that we entrust our kids with you all, and we know that you all praying that you all have their best interests at heart. Most of you guys do. Like the audience said, a couple of our viewers said, we need more coaches like you. So no matter what, I pray that you keep on keeping on. You are definitely a true champion of the game. So guys, if you don't know how to transition from one position to another, you need to go back and rewatch this broadcast. Or if it has blessed you, please do share this broadcast with someone, maybe your brother, sister, cousin, mother. However, share it. And if you would like to book with the girl, you can do so by going to my website at www.ericawilson.ih2h.com. Again, www.ericawilson.ih2h.com. I'd love to have you. Our openings are on Wednesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. And on Mondays, you're more than welcome to come on the NFL Mom Show and chop it up with us. We'll love to have you. Eugene, thank you. No, Coach Fuller. Thank you so very much for accepting the invitation. Do know, open door. Anytime you would like to come back to share your now, you're more than welcome. All you have to do is click that link that was sent to you. So again, thank you, King. Salute, Coach Fuller. And listen, y'all show Coach Fuller some love. How somebody could get in contact with you really quick?
So you can check if you want to reach out to me, Instagram or Twitter. My Twitter and Instagram name, they're the same. It's literally Real Coach Fuller. Again, Real Coach Fuller is just that plain and simple. You can find me and reach me. It's literally just that simple. Yeah, feel free to follow, DM me, hit me up. I try my best to get back to as many people as I can.
Absolutely. Thanks again for tuning in here with us at It Had to Happen with your girl, Erica Wilson. Guys, share this broadcast to someone that may be transitioning or to an athlete, young athlete, old athlete, don't matter. Share this video with someone who may be going through a transition, not just with football, but a transition in itself. Because we all know that we have one plan, but God have another, and His plan is definitely the best plan. Okay. Until next time, God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Erica's empowering empire. 88 blessings soar movement. It had to happen in a beauty so rare. We'd love for you to join us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. It Had to Happen with Erica Wilson. Following our social media.